Yeah, I know. We've been working hard. You did good stuff. Good job. Alright, so today Luna and I worked on building her recall outdoors a little more intensively. And then I also wanted to throw our impulse control exercises into two different variations, a more active and interactive impulse control exercise where her handler and Luna and her handler are moving through a space and something surprising might happen. And in this situation, you would be using an active leave it cue. But there's kind of a timing to the exercise. So I'm going to show you and demonstrate what this looks like. And you can practice capturing the right decisions that Luna is making in the moment of the exercise, and watch how she quickly picks up on the expectations when you start utilizing the verbal leave it cue. Okay? The other way that we practice impulse control is by just building duration for her in a down here. And I'm going to show you the active way that we built duration, and then the more passive way that we built duration today. Alright, so first, we worked on recall outdoors. And I wanted to really hone in on the keep away exercise, or the keep away habit that we notice that Luna has when she's here with us, and the way that we can overcome that keep away fun run that she does. So she'll like come almost all the way to you, and then when you go to try and touch her or grab for her, she dashes away. She knows how close she can get while still being just out of reach. So we practiced only rewarding once we had a hand on her harness handle. Okay, and then we even built on that to where we had a hand on her harness handle, and she actually was willing for us to pull on that handle a little bit in order to receive the reward. So we are indoors right now. Keep this in mind for your recap for this video. But when you're outside with her, she's going to be off leash, but she's still going to have a harness on, ideally. We don't want to try and take that off because that removes all of the control. I know, I'm talking a lot, not to you. So we're going to have her just move towards a visible hand target. Yep. And then as you reach for your treat, you're also going to reach for the harness. And you see how her head lowered a little bit? She's like, oh God. But that's when she gets the cookies delivered, is after you have your hand on her harness. Okay? And then we're going to build on that by taking a step away. That creates pressure. You see how she's leaning away from it right now? So you just want to be patient in this one. Yep, there you go. And the minute you see her move towards you at all, you're going to mark for that again and deliver more cookies, okay? Now what I would do when you're working on this outside with her, practice this several times before it's actually time to leash her up and bring her back inside, okay? Because what we don't want to do is start building the anticipation of my harness gets grabbed and then the fun stops, we have to go inside. So if you practice this multiple times and then release her again to continue doodling around in the yard or wherever it is that you're exercising her, she gets more comfortable and confident in approaching the visible hand target. Yep. Good girl. And then you can practice pulling. Yep, there it is. Very nice. That was much better. So she doesn't learn to just play keep away 100% of the time because she never knows when the fun is actually going to end. Okay? Now, the other two exercises we did here was an interactive impulse control. And since we're working in a tighter space, I am going to shorten her leash a little bit for this little bit here. And I wanted to create kind of a real world scenario. So I brought in a coffee cup. This is something that's too large for her to swallow immediately. She has to try and work on it a little bit if she does decide to go for it. So we started by just playing It's Your Choice with this. Yep, good girl. But I wanted to shift away from that really fast because it's not really a realistic scenario that you're going to see a piece of trash and want to pick it up and play this game, okay? More than likely what's going to happen is you're going to be walking. Let's go. I'm in your room right now. And somebody's going to drop that. Yep, good girl. Or the wind is going to blow it out from a trash can or from underneath a car. Yep, that was a good choice. And you're going to need to use a real quick leave it. Yeah, that's leave it. Yep, good girl. Because it startled you and it surprised her. That's good girl. And the first thing she's going to want to do is investigate it. So if you start to notice that she's like honed in, yep, good job. She's 100% making the right choice now and she's ignoring it. There's a really easy way to reintroduce this. Yep, that was it. That was good girl. So you can see we practice this a lot with our coffee cup. You can do this with, leave it. Yep, good girl. You can do this with Tupperware, or maybe maybe not a Chinese box. That's a little bit high value. But anything, yep, that is perceivably low value, something that would not provide an immediate food reward. Cardboard, if you want to like tear cardboard into pieces to make it last a little bit longer, and then you can start tossing that around. You can take this on walks with you and practice with it outside. And of course you can always, yep, leave it. Yep, good girl. You can always practice this with real items too, dogs, people, etc. But since it's the edible items that we are most concerned with for her, I wanted to introduce a real life trash scenario to help her work through. Yeah, that's good girl. Yep. To help her work through an active leave it situation. Yep, good job. And then in this scenario, you always want to pick up the item so that it's not available for her to just go snatch back. If you have that in your control, if you are actively practicing this in a formal setting, always make sure you pick up the item and remove it from her sight so she can't go snatch it later when you're not paying attention or when you're not actively training her. So now that she's kind of offering me this down, I'm going to show you how we built duration. So there's an active way to build duration, and that's by cueing the down and then introducing your own kinds of distractions. I like to do a breath test. Yep, good girl. And you can start to shift your eyes around and stop looking at her during this breath testing. All you're doing is adding one more breath each time before you use your marker and reward her for maintaining the position. You noticed earlier in the video that she got a little barky at me while I was giving a little recap about our day today. This exercise is meant to start fading that demand bark that she's doing. Yep, good girl. Another way that you can work on this is by building distance from her while she stays in the down. So we're going to do that. I'm just going to step to the doors here. Yep. Good job. You can also try pivoting away from her and taking a step. Yep. Good girl. Now we managed to get about 4 steps. I managed to get about 4 steps away from her. That was when she was on the leash, and I did have the leash fully extended to its full length. So I went to the end of the leash, basically, while she stayed in her down, and that was a success for me. When you have her off leash in the house, I'd like for you to see if you can make your way through a doorway and then quickly step out of sight and back into sight before we're marking and rewarding her. That's a great test of her impulse control and duration, even when you don't have eyes on her. Okay? Another way to build duration is in a more passive scenario. So say that you're sitting on the sofa and Luna is relaxed next to you, whether it's on the ground or on the furniture, if you allow her to get on the furniture at home. And your partner is in the kitchen and she's making some noises, kind of cooking or putting dishes away, washing something. You can create passive duration by not marking. You don't acknowledge her verbally at all, but just reach down and give her some scritches, or drop a couple of kibbles if you've got kibbles handy on the floor for her to enjoy. This still reinforces the duration behavior, but it makes her less reliant on verbal feedback from you to make good choices. Okay, so she can still learn to just relax and chill and not involve herself in whatever is going on, and she knows that she will get periodic reinforcement. And in this exercise, you can introduce your breath test as well. So if you're just watching television, or if you're reading a book or on your tablet or something, see if you can have her maintain this down next to you for 1 breath, and then you can reach down and give her love, and then 2 breaths, and reach down and give her a cookie or give her another scritch, and then 3 breaths, and so on and so forth. The key here is that you always want to set her up for success. So if you know that she's starting to get a little squirrely, and you can tell because she'll start rolling her hips like she did just there, or she'll start honing in on you, like she's honed in on me now, she's checked in on me and really hard focused, that's when you need to go ahead and call it. Ask her to do something else very simple, like a hand target touch. Yep. Get a little bit of work out of her, or maybe go throw a toy for her real quick to go work on. Yeah, it's a good girl. And then you can restart the exercise if she chooses to lay down and settle herself again. Okay? She's a really, really smart girl, and she is picking up on this concept that the outside environment is much less important than what she needs to do for her handler. Earn some snacks. and even how to beg for snacks if she feels like she's not getting the attention she deserves. Josh, good girl, you do good things today. Yes.